to DAO Day for the 2nd of December 2022. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands from which we all meet. I'm joining from Wurundjeri land today and extend our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Would also like to acknowledge the LawFi DAO values and beliefs being reciprocity, respect, integrity and kindness while doing things differently and appreciating that time is our most precious resource. I finally would like to remind everybody that you are being recorded. So if you would like to withdraw consent about being seen or heard, either after this session or right now or later, please send an email to jp@lawfidao.com. So we are in the wind-up mode, I suppose. So over December, January, at least in Australia, a lot of us tend to wind down or try to. There's a big race to the finish line where we're all trying to get work out, of course, but in the spirit of fun and hobby and enjoyment, which is really what got us all into the space, this unrelenting intellectual curiosity to find out more, but to enjoy ourselves. I just wanted to ask people if over the December-January period, we do just put the brakes on a little bit and have some fun exercises to experiment with and report back when we all sort of come back online around late January. There's been a few things come my way, and what I think as a fun experiment may not actually be fun for others. So these are just examples to get the creative juices going. One of them was I shared a link in the general chat to Moshi, which is this gamified experience for goal-oriented teams, and it's Web3 native. So I wonder if we would like to just have some little mini projects. They may not mean anything, but it allows us to play with this Moshi game tool, and that can be a really fun way that we might take it on in more of our as we beef up operations into 2023, we do so in a fun way to encourage that involvement and collective contribution to our DAO. Let me know if you can't find it. The information is still pretty scant. I think they're still quite new, but the DAO Research Collective, which is, as I understand, a legitimate organization, run by mostly US lawyers, Web3 lawyers, they're doing a lot of reviews on projects, DAO tooling projects, Moshi being one of the first cabs off the ranks. So I was very impressed by the review and thought I'd share it with everybody. Another little mini project, Electra and the other accounts of the world, this might spark our curiosity, but just playing with the Bulla Banker protocol and comparing it to e-invoicing, just literally doing dummy invoices and receipts in the Bulla Banker protocol and, seeing if the experience is actually better or not, or how we could improve it, reaching out to that team, just fun little projects. So those are a few that interest me, and I'll go and do those and share some insights in our Discord. The other thing that was mentioned was a blog, a regular blog to sort of give updates on what's going on with LawFi DAO, especially for those that prefer reading rather than watching back the YouTube sessions. So I was thinking to draft something up for a 6 months in review, our first 6 months, and wrapping up the year and trying to get it out in the next, before we all go on leave. And so anybody who would like to contribute to that, like to jointly author it, would love the help. But even now, I know it's a question without notice, but if there's anything that you share that's memorable about your 6 months in LawFi DAO, things that you think could have gone better, things that you've found most useful so far that you've extended into other projects. We are still young, but it would be nice if you can like either if you feel comfortable to say it now, or if you want to reflect on it and share it later, that'd be great. The feedback from the ASIC presentation hopefully is coming in shortly. I've got my fingers crossed about that. I hope that we do get even a little bit of feedback before year end. It would be good. But they've got a lot going on. As you would have all seen, there's another enforcement action that's come out against Block Earner. So they're definitely keeping themselves busy. There was a request in the general chat to complete a Google form from papabitcoin, but the person behind that is Suhail from eGovern. Gordon, I think you might have even had a chat with this person, but they're working with a government. They haven't named the government, to create a best-in-class legal wrapper for DAOs. So filling out this survey will help inform that approach and encourage you all to have a go at that, or even just send some comments in the general chat if you'd like me to fill out. I'm aiming to do that later today, just in my individual capacity, not on behalf of Lawfi DAO, but would be great to get that feedback through. Then we do have a request to assist on a KYD project. So that's Know Your DAO. And this is to more on the education limb of our purposes and having us interact with, this centralized entity. I won't name them yet, but they have coined, as far as I'm aware, they've coined the concept KYD. So reserve that for them. That they do want to service DAOs. They want a proper risk framework to do so, both onboarding and in an ongoing sense, and they'd love our help. So anybody who is also interested in being involved in that project, it'll start with checklists, test environments, and then simulated sort of experiences and transactions to see how the centralized institution would deal with it and what we would expect ourselves and our teams or our contributors to do, how we would notify them in the event of something risky going on or suspicious. So I think I'm just going through, I know Miles participated on the MyDAO briefing session, but I don't think that we've got him on here today. But apart from that, that's all from me with our update. A short but a good one, hopefully. But open to community to add anything else that's going on for you or respond to anything that I've raised. Otherwise, you can have the time back in your diary.
Okay, I wish I'd written down the points.
Yeah, I'll just copy and paste them in the chat. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look, back to the task of having to condense the last 6 months into a blog, which sounds like a great thing to get out of the way before Christmas, but also a big job. I think I captured half the meetings with my Fireflies AI note taker, which I turned off because I thought they might be annoying, but I found those handy for writing because it does an AI summary of the event. So at the top provides an AI summary of what was discussed, which gets it sort of half right, but enough to jog your memory. Yeah. Then followed by a full transcript of the session. So I could dig those out and I could run the rest through with YouTube through the system and give you those summaries if that might help write the blog faster.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. Do you feel comfortable posting that in the Discord, maybe in community building channel?
Posting.
If not,
yeah. Oh, like all the summaries. Yeah,
yeah. Do they come through as a Word version or?
Yeah. Well, what I could do is I could just put it into a Google document with headings, chapters, and just copy paste it in so it's all in there. Like
that'd be
summary,
great.
Transcript. It'll be huge, but it might just be one source of information for you to smash it out.
Yep, sounds good. Love it.
So, and as I go through it, I might find some highlights. You know, I've been very inspired by this. I know I haven't really participated much because I'm still in kind of learner and contemplation mode. But I liked our little chat about, you know, how I could be mobilised to contribute with the pay to rely model. So I've been thinking about that, you know, for tax agents to be able to come to Lawfire DAO for advice to support their clients in the crypto space.
Exactly.
Wonderful idea. So yeah, we'll chat about that this afternoon if pay to rely is still on.
Well, and can I just pause there to say, to get the rest of the members on the call up to speed.
Yeah.
Electra and I had a private exchange in a Discord message, because I just wondered whether Electra had ideas that were front of mind for tax agents about, you know, what they would be most helped by with pay to rely products. And after that exchange, we brainstormed together. Electra said, "Thank you for mobilizing me." And that was like music to my ears, because I haven't, you know, it's been difficult to figure out, because a lot of us are still in contemplative mode. We started this DAO earlier than it should have been, so that everybody could benefit from those tough discussions that do happen. And often, you know, the centralized founders just make a call. But yeah, so and that's made us go slower than, I suppose, the typical DAO, but that was one of the purposes. And it's frustrating at times for all of us, but without having a clear contribution framework and clear tasks and clear roles, it's been difficult to have a program of those tasks. And
but
when we went through that and you said, "Thank you for mobilizing me," it just was so precious.
Well, that's it, because you're kind of floating around trying to understand everything, understanding like where you might be able to contribute to this thing that doesn't have a structure yet. So just go for it and delegate. That's great. It was a clever move. But it's also been giving me thought about how the accounting industry could follow some kind of public benefit DAO model like Lawfire DAO, in a sort of I guess in a, you know, not to copy, but to be guided by Lawfire DAO. It's made me think about how we could have some kind of peer accreditation and learning model, peer ethics, governance agreements model. And so there's a lot to contemplate over the Christmas period, and I think we'll come back ready to be mobilised.
Yeah, no,
Jenny,
yes, Gordon.
You hear important conversations there, and I think, yeah, listening to our community. So, like, thinking about what a DAO is, and we just got off a Twitter space at the moment in our Stacks community, which is what's next in Web3 for DAOs, and we'll share the link, because it's two of the DAOs, main DAO people in our community that are building DAOs and sharing their experiences, and really it's what is the common cause, what is the purpose of the DAO. And, you know, and the community questions that come up are the really important things that we're there to serve. So, you know, there was two important questions that came up about the same questions that we're dealing with. One being, you know, the governance token versus a token which you can has value. The same questions coming up in the communities, it seems, and finding out what are the main questions that need to be answered, and consistently having that message there for them and that guidance there for them. So getting our community involved, and yeah, be interesting to hear from Greg if he's online and able to talk, you know, out of, say, the NFT Fest, what were the main questions that came up around DAOs, and what should be our areas of focus that we can roll out first and get that pay to rely or out first.
I know Greg's in the airport.
Yeah, I'm just about to jump on the car, what is it, the car park bus, but the short answer is, with the DAO sessions, I actually missed those. I was emceeing one of the rooms, so I am catching up on the recordings like a lot of people are. There was 3 concurrent streams going, so hopefully those recordings will be out next week of all the sessions. But yeah, so I actually missed that. There was a really cool AMA 60-minute session with a with a bunch of lawyers, many sort of names that you all would be familiar with, outside of Joni, who unfortunately missed NFT Fest. But that one in particular, I think, touched on a few questions from DAOs from what I heard, but I can't give any first-hand experience because the room I was in, there wasn't too much talk on DAOs specifically.
Yeah, awesome. There's a lot of things around in this conversation we just came out of about that. Within a DAO, you can have some voting things, you can raise some capital. You don't necessarily need to do that like in, at that next level of being in a DAO. So there's a bunch of tools. It's like these early parts. They were talking about one is called Teams, and it's like the incubator space. And we talk, where you can have people create work on the ideas, and they can raise some money towards a course, but they don't have to go to that level of a DAO, or it might be early before they're getting to a DAO. So it's like what we're doing here. So I think we're doing all the right things. We're exploring what's required. We're building a community. We're looking to build a product. It's not so important that we actually are a DAO. It doesn't matter that we've called ourselves a DAO in that sense in our name, but I think there's no rush here. We can.
That's right.
There's a lot to be learned, and we're going to create a product. So
Gordon and I were listening to a Stacker DAO Twitter session this morning, and there was the point made that you can press ahead with creating a DAO without rushing to create a token and to register it. It could just be my takeaway from that was it could just be a study research project in the beginning. And so I agree with Gordon that we're doing things the right way.
And there are other points to be made as well, that with a project, sometimes projects just have an end date. There's a cause, you've done something, you've revealed something, and that might be that we're, the side of what we're doing about exploring the Australian regulations that might lead to getting some protection from in a DAO could end up being the purpose. But we've got another purpose, which is a pay to rely model. So, and some things. So yeah, it's not no one's rug pulled on a project if at the end you've achieved your purpose and you've closed it all down. So that's an interesting thing to think about, how people that are building DAO communities.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just on NFT Fest, I can't wait for those recorded sessions to be available too. And because I was on my family holiday, I had so much FOMO missing out on that NFT Fest. It's always a fun event, and I hope it happens again next year.
It was interesting that the Nounce DAO, I saw that mentioned. There was an event there, and it was also brought up by the guys from Stacker DAO. So these are really respected people, and they spoke highly of it. So yeah, it sounded like that was something of really good presentation at NFT Fest to be looking at.
Well, I think I even saw that they ran a proposal to approve the funds to send, the delegation across. Greg?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So I work with Gami, who's he owns 2 full nouns, so he gets 2 votes. And it was actually the biggest landslide of Nouns DAO history, NFT Fest. It was, I think, 182 votes for, 3 abstained and 0 no's. So yeah, pretty cool.
Fantastic. Well, Leah, Vic, Greg, don't know if you're each in a position to speak, but welcome any comments from you, reflections.
Morning. Comments and reflections. NFT Fest was possibly the greatest thing that I attended this year. So thank you so much, Greg. Oh my gosh, just the best.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Leah, Greg?
Yeah, hi. Well, I'm at home and got some renovations going, hence the been on mute and without the camera.
No worries.
Sorry I missed the beginning of the meeting, but I'd be interested, Joni, even if it's afterwards, just to understand. I've struggled to understand where we're at with every bit that's going on in the DAO, like what's been done, what hasn't been done, where it's all sitting. So I've tried tracking on Discord, but Discord doesn't seem to have all that information available. So I think this recap that we're talking about for year end would be a good way just to bring everyone up to speed, as well as like we've done this, we haven't done that, we've got to do this, priorities for next year, this and that. I think that sort of project planning almost element to it that we've talked about before would be helpful, particularly if it's, you know, transparent to everybody involved. I'm not sure if it's just me because I'm on the fringes more, but yeah.
Well, you make a good point, because there are certain the email updates to the membership base are currently not shared on Discord. So I think that at least is worthy of its own channel, just for noting that it is official member correspondence, but everybody can view it. Or if you're a non-member, you can view it, but if you're a member, you probably can comment. Jules, who's helping me run the Discord, tells me that we can designate a special member status to the Discord members that are members, and so they can get special privileges. So I'll make a note to do that with Jules. But Greg, separately, just an accessible, even table-like summary of what we've done, what's still to do, and goals for next year. Leave that with me, and I'll aim to do that over the next week. The bigger task, Andrew Walton sort of set out the proposal last week, and there's some more correspondence to follow, to recruit at least 5 of our members to go through the series of workshops. And those workshops won't happen until late January next year, but the emails that he's preparing is for those that we do recruit, so to speak, to be involved in those workshops for the 2023 planning. It'll give you some prep and some homework to come to those sessions, you know, in what he's hoping to get out based on the multilateral model. So that hopefully those emails should be coming over the next week or so, but you'll have it in your hot little hands, you know, before Christmas, so that you can contemplate over the break. Yeah,
okay. And I recognise, you know, DAOSIM's not a member, but we're happy to consult, advise, help, get involved wherever we can. So yeah, you've been fantastic, you and DACM. So thank you to all the efforts that you're providing. No worries. It's a fun project. Good to be part of it. Yeah. Yes. All right. Leah, last call for any comments.
Yeah, look, I can't believe it's been 6 months already. That's awesome that we've gone so far. I've got another week left before I break for holidays, but I'm happy to help with the blog for the 6-month recap if we sort of discuss it in the near term, and then I can work on it and help on it next week. And the other question I had was the key Know Your DAO work. What is the timing on that? Is that this year or next year?
There's a little bit of maybe putting together a basic checklist this year, but with the majority of it to happen early next year, like late January.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Well, I'll tee up with you and we can have a chat about the blog, and you can definitely help us make it more fun and easy to read, apart from my lawyer style of writing. All right. If I'll just make one last call for any final comments before we wrap up today. Okay. I think everybody's happy. Yes, no further sessions today to answer your question, Electra. We're not doing establishment or membership or pay to rely, just pending all of those workshops to figure out best way of working. So most of the chat now about ideas and little projects will occur in the Discord, or if you want it to be more private, direct messages or emails to jp@lawfi.DAO, and I'll share it as appropriate in the public forums. Oh, look who's calling me. Steve Vallis, right on time. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week for Community Call.
Thanks, Joni.
Bye.
Bye.